Welcome back to more Pikmin 3 Deluxe. Last time we reunited with Brittany, so this time we're investigating a signal at the Garden of Hope. As we saw at the end of Day 2, the onion works very differently in Pikmin 3. Instead of having separate onions for every Pikmin type, the onions will merge together. You can hold ZL to call multiple types of Pikmin out at once, which is very convenient. Also, it's really nice that the rock Pikmin get their own onion, unlike the purple and white Pikmin from Pikmin 2. Over here we have some fiery blowhogs. Also, by the way, right here is where you'd find a data file that would tell you about the Go Here command. It's not that big of a difference, but actually getting this feature as soon as you have two captains is a lot more convenient and actually makes a lot more sense. Over here we also have an unfinished bridge. There are materials for constructing a bridge on the opposite shore. If I work together with Brittany, I think we can get that bridge built. To ask Brittany to join the squad, move the cursor over to her and call her by pressing B. So if we go over here, we have some tape indicating that we can throw a Pikmin over here, and that we definitely should. We also have one of those little screws in the ground as a lock-on point, which again was added for Deluxe and actually makes it a lot easier. Also, it works well with the ability to hold A to throw while you're locked onto something. Alright, let's toss all of the Pikmin over, and then toss Brittany over to work on the bridge. We have two sets of bridge parts. We have the ones in this crystal over here. We also have a lot of eggs, so we'll try to get some nectar for the Pikmin in a bit. And we have this pile over here. While they're working on that, we have another wall. The signal seems like it's coming from over there. So we'll have the remaining red Pikmin work on the wall for now, and then we'll round up all of the other Pikmin types, and probably try to get some nectar. It looks like we have quite a bit here, so let's try to flower some of the rock Pikmin. In general, the red Pikmin and rock Pikmin have separate strengths, and we'll be seeing that in the very near future, actually. So, now that we have a few more flower Pikmin, let's work on the wall. You'll actually be able to see it here. The rock Pikmin can't cling onto things. They basically have to charge into things to deal damage. So yeah, they are still very strong, but unlike purple Pikmin, they do have at least a weakness to justify continuing to use other types of Pikmin. So with the wall taken care of, let's make our way over to this very ominous stump in the distance. Here we have a data file. What? What's this data file doing all the way out here? My search for treasure continues with no luck, but I can't fly back home to Hokotate without procuring a few priceless artifacts. I'm sensing something valuable up ahead, but I'm also sensing danger. So if someone finds this data file, please send word to my son that I didn't make it. Captain Olimar. Captain Olimar? There's another captain who's been through here? And he's from Hokotate. People from their planet go to such extremes to scavenge treasure. Maybe it's all the vegetables they eat that makes them so treasure-crazed. Well, sad to say, it looks like this Olimar met his end up ahead. We'd better be careful. Well, that seems like a fairly dour Easter egg for fans of the series, but let's press on. Looks like some kind of nest. Something doesn't feel quite right here. No, no, nope, keep away. We have our first boss. The Armored Crawmad is heavily armored in crystal, so we have to break it using the rock Pikmin. You can basically break various segments. I recommend going after the base of its tail though, because it actually makes it very easy to charge Pikmin at it. It broke, now we're making some progress. So let's wait for it to stop and then charge all of our red Pikmin who can actually cling onto its tail and deal massive damage. Alright, that was a very good start to this fight. It actually can't die while it's climbing the wall, so we actually have to wait for another cycle, unfortunately. Where is it hiding? So it'll try to charge at us again, and we'll have to attack it once more. If this is where that signal was coming from, then that means we still don't know where the captain is. Okay then, well, for now we'll take this back to the Drake for analysis. This looks like it could be useful. We also have a couple of data files. It's soft on the inside. Its exoskeleton is made of crystal. Use rock Pikmin to smash it. In the Wii U version, these data files are actually hidden in this little nook over here, and I think the other one is over in one of the mushrooms on this side. They're actually moved out in the open, which is actually really nice, so you don't have to like hunt for them. Let's carry the Armored Crawmad back with the rock Pikmin to grow some more rock Pikmin, and actually the phone is in the way. We'll also have the red Pikmin carry the fruit back. That fruit is enormous! And we'll have them carry the phone back as well. I'm actually going to do something a little bit weird with this fruit. I'll try to explain a little bit more later, but for now let's make our way back over here. By the way, I also left Alf over here. The reason is, when you're trying to cycle through, sometimes I accidentally throw the captain, which is obviously not helpful in the slightest, so in some cases, like certain very hectic boss fights, I'd actually recommend not having the other captain around, because that's just another thing you could potentially accidentally throw at an enemy and waste time. By the way, even though hard mode is closer to the Wii U version's difficulty, it's not a perfect match, and the Armored Crawmad is a really good example of that. Its pincers actually are broken with basically one throw in this version, but actually take a lot more damage like a standard crystal like armor property in the Wii U version. So yeah, even though this is tougher than normal mode, it's still not quite as difficult as the Wii U version. It's very interesting how this game was rebalanced, and again, a lot of things were actually moved around, which is very interesting. We might run into a problem here, either with this or the next thing we bring back. The onion stopped spitting out seeds. But the Pikmin inside the onion still seem to be increasing in numbers. Apparently, once the surface population reaches 100, new Pikmin are born inside the onion. This means that a maximum of 100 Pikmin can be active outside the onion at any one time. There's a limit to the number of Pikmin on the surface at a time, but more can sprout inside the onion. That's a fairly standard rule at this point in the series, but there's a bit of a twist to that I'll talk about a little bit later. Well, that's actually most of what we can do on this day. We actually cleared out this area pretty thoroughly on the previous day. This is still sort of in tutorial mode a little bit, so there's not a ton left. We basically have to wait for them to bring everything back. The fruit, I'm actually going to deliberately leave because I want to collect it at a later time. There's actually a better time to pick it up. Actually, we might have a problem. Okay, maybe you'll be fine. I actually don't know. We might have to move this a little bit. But the phone is almost back to the Drake, at least. Analyzing. Oh, a message from the Drake. Analyzing recovered item. An ancient communication device used on this planet. It contains technology unknown to Kopai and is emitting a signal even now. I'll have Alf take a look at this tonight to see if we have any use for it. He might have a few ideas with his engineer's expertise. So yeah, we're actually going to drop off the fruit here. There is a better time to collect it, and this won't even make sense for a bit. Like, maybe 7 to 10 days, this will make sense. And we definitely have enough supplies. We have 4 days worth of juice left, so we don't need this fruit, and it might come in handy to actually have a very convenient source of fruit at a later point. We still can't deal with this electric fence, sadly. I think I'll keep my distance. But yeah, electricity is actually less harmful. It's not instant death in Pikmin 3. I think it actually stuns Pikmin more than anything. At least it stuns rock Pikmin, so let's demonstrate like that. Yikes, sorry, so sorry. So yeah, it actually is a lot less of a hassle, but definitely we need a different type of Pikmin to deal with that. We've actually seen the other type of Pikmin with Charlie at a future area, but unfortunately we won't be getting Pikmin or yellow Pikmin for our squad for a bit. For the rest of the day, I want to explore a little bit more. We kind of got interrupted by the end of day last time. We have the yellow Wollywogs, and as a reminder, the rock Pikmin are immune from crushing. So I definitely recommend using rock Pikmin to fight any enemy that could potentially crush large groups of Pikmin. I always feel bad for yellow Wollywogs and Wollywogs in general. They kind of get planted, by the way, you might have noticed that. Over here we also have a Skitterleaf. This isn't too bad, but be aware of another type of Skitterleaf in the future. These don't give that many Pikmin sprouts, but we'll probably take them back anyway just to raise our numbers a little bit more with our remaining time on this day. We also have a Toady Boister, if I'm not mistaken, was the name of the smaller variant in Pikmin 2. We have no water-based Pikmin, underwater creatures. Better not get too close. We have a pile of something over here, along with a wall. This actually connects to an area we can't get to yet. We have to basically go from the other side. So there's still plenty to see in the Garden of Hope. We also have this area through here. There's actually not much we can do in this area either, but we might as well take a look in the meantime. We have a huge lime up there. I can't use that by myself. We have more electricity, we have a data file on another one of these little platforms, and this is definitely something we'll have to come back for later because we definitely don't have the right types of Pikmin for this. This is something that is typical for Pikmin games. You usually can't do everything in one go. You have to come back later and clear out the area if you're interested in like 100%. So yeah, we'll definitely be back here later, both to explore this other area off in the distance, and also to collect the remaining fruit in this area. This will be a 100% playthrough, by the way, meaning I'm going to get all of the fruits. I'm going to do my best to also get all of the data files, and show off some Easter eggs as well along the way. But also I'm not guaranteeing being able to get everything just because there's actually a lot of secrets in Pikmin 3. In terms of overall content, I do feel like Pikmin 3 feels sort of short in terms of the campaign, especially compared to Pikmin 2, but honestly, I don't think it's that much worse than Pikmin 1 in terms of like overall amount of content. We also have another fruit buried behind this wall. We have another fiery blowhog too. I'm having the red the red Pikmin take back a lot of the pellets that we're finding because the rock Pikmin took the Armored Crawmad back, meaning they got a ton of sprouts from the boss. As usual, bosses give you a ton of sprouts, and in this game, defeated bosses actually will stay around for a bit. You don't have to take them back right away. They will eventually go away after like 2 or 3 days, but you have a little bit of leeway, which is great if you fight a boss at the very end of a day and don't have enough time to actually get it back to the onion. Other collectibles like the device we found and the fruit that the boss dropped will also retain its current position as long as we leave it. So yeah, enemies will eventually despawn for bosses. Regular enemies despawn immediately, bosses despawn after a little bit, but yeah, fruit and other key items will retain their positioning as long as you're, like, basically forever. So yeah, as long as this fruit is there, it'll stay there until we come back to the Garden of Hope eventually, but that'll be ways off. But with that, we've basically seen everything in the Garden of Hope for now. Also, I don't know if I said this yet, but this will also be a deathless run, as per tradition. Typically, with Pikmin games, I like trying to not lose Pikmin, and this will not be an exception. In general, I don't know if Pikmin 3 is actually a difficult game for a deathless run, or if it's just because I grew up with Pikmin 1 and 2 and have played them so many times that I basically have a lot of strategies and routing memorized so they don't feel as bad. But either way, I am a little bit curious to see how this playthrough goes, because compared to Pikmin 1 and 2, I have a lot less familiarity with it, so a lot more could potentially go wrong. I'm also just checking over here just because I'm curious to see if the other pellets come back. It doesn't look like it, so this area is not really that helpful going forward. Yeah, in general, I really like Pikmin 3. It's just a case of I basically would play Pikmin 1 and 2 like once a year, like genuinely, every summer for the longest time. And then comparatively, Pikmin 3 hasn't been out for very long, so I haven't been able to play it as many times. This is like my 4th or 5th playthrough, if we're counting both the Wii U and Deluxe version. So yeah, I still very much enjoy this game, it's just one that I have less familiarity with, so this could be a very interesting playthrough, to say the least. No fruit collected today. Sigh. Knowing this is waiting at the end of the day makes it all worth it. If only I didn't have to share it with the others. This is great! We actually have a little bit of a juice buffer. We didn't get any fruit, but we did get an unusual item, and we raised our Pikmin numbers for both types quite a bit, so we have close to 100 with both types. Also, just to show it off again, we have a little replay here. Again, this wasn't necessarily the most exciting day just because we were kind of limited in what we could do, but you can actually see like the different enemy movements as well, which is very nice. But yeah, we have this whole area over here that we'll be exploring whenever we return to the Garden of Hope in the distant future. We recovered the communication device that was inside the Armored Crawmad. According to Alf, this device contains parts that may expand the Drake's communications range. I've never seen him so excited. I'm more than happy to write today's report while Alf examines the device. Sometimes he can be so diligent. You can now fight the Armored Crawmad in a Defeat Bosses mission. Brilliant, Alf! You expanded the Drake's receiver range. Aw, thanks. You don't call me the keen engineer for nothing. Nobody calls you that. I know. The origin of the signal is unclear. Maybe it's the captain. We should investigate this at once. Good idea, Alf. Let's do it. Since we didn't talk to the crew yesterday, let's do so today. So that memo data file we found was left behind by someone from the planet Hokotate? Correct. I wonder how Hokotatians would fare on this planet. They're vegetarians, you know. Vegetarians? Does that mean what I think it means? If you think it means that they don't eat meat, then yes. Hokotate is well known for its pick carrots. I tried them once. They were kind of gross. You? Ate vegetables? I can hardly believe it. It was my duty as a botanist, but those carrots aren't really suited to the Kopite palate. Right, but if we ate vegetables, maybe we wouldn't have to travel 279,000 light years to get food. It's kind of interesting having similar characters to the previous games and also having an acknowledgement of Olimar and Hokotate, but these are very different, people. So we have opened up the distant tundra that definitely looks like where Charlie crash landed at the beginning of our adventure, so we will explore that region next time. So thank you for watching, and I hope you'll join me next time for more Pikmin 3 Deluxe.